Welcome, everybody, to Black Sheep and Bad Apples, episode
Welcome.
number 10, here at Fourth Corner Studios. I am Sean, your co-host. In the studio, we also have Sam tonight.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
We also have Joe again. Welcome, Joe.
Howdy, howdy.
And we have Matthew Wallace in the studio, special guest.
Hello. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever done. Have a conversation with friends with a microphone in my hand. But I will say I'm very honored to be here with one of Hayfork's great minds, Mr. Joe.
Ooh, grassy.
All right, and your host, Loren O'Brien.
Hello.
Thank
Take
you.
it away.
Thank you.
And it's
thank
also
you,
an honor to
thank
be
you.
here with Mr. Loren.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
save.
Because
I
this
really,
is
I really,
Hayfork's premiere podcast.
I really like that we
That
could
is
start
true.
off on the note of like, hey, I'm really happy to be here with Joe Dacey.
Damn!
Like, we're not even a
Bam.
minute in, and I'm getting fucking like, I'm getting just shots fired at me.
The rest of you guys can suck it.
Well, you're a piece of shit.
All right, so this
I
is going to
feel
be
great,
third
by the way.
thing on my agenda, but let's address it now. Why are all my friends such childish pieces of shit?
I mean, because you're a childish piece of shit, so you will befriend
Attractive,
people who
yeah.
are childish pieces of shit.
Well,
That's why we're not
I'm very
friends.
mature around other people, but like,
But around me,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's my influence.
Yeah,
I'd say pretty
I'm
much.
an
Peer
empath,
pressure.
so
Makes us all
ooh, we got an
childish.
indigo child over there.
I like that none of you guys are taking responsibility for being a piece of shit. It's just like, well, you're a piece of shit.
I mean,
that
I'm
entitles us
not.
to be one too. Jesus fuck, I hate you guys. Anyway, thanks for being here, Matt. Joe, thanks again for being here.
Oh,
thanks.
anytime.
Really
I
like
enjoy
having you
yeah,
on.
being
Joe.
here.
Thanks for coming and stealing
It's really
his
nice
thunder.
to have you guys.
I appreciate it. At
I'm
least.
honestly really excited. Tonight we're going to be
Just
talking about
catching those
animal
fly
attacks.
balls.
I've got a couple little facts listed on here that I think will be fun to go through. But first and foremost, I wanted to bring up our word of the day.
Ooh, word of the day.
So our word of the day is confabulate. If you'll give me just a moment,
Yes,
I have to.
confabulate.
Yeah.
I love this word.
So confabulate in the
Is
form.
that like bejazzling?
No.
You know what? Yeah. Let's go. Let's start off like that. So you think it's bejazzling, which is not a word. I think you mean
No, it
bedazzle.
is. It's to
I meant
vajazzling. Yeah.
Yes, excuse me.
Oh Jesus.
I definitely I caught that.
Vajazzling.
Yeah. That's a word.
To put bedazzling beads on your vagina.
I think it's rhinestones.
Yeah, those like stick-on
Yeah.
rhinestones. On
You
the
usually put them on the back of jean jackets to
Forgive
look
me
real
for
cool.
my fucking.
Like a rhinestone cowboy.
But in this case, it's like a rhinestone vagina.
All right. So Joe, did you say you do know what this word means?
No, I knew what vajazzling was.
Okay. I'm not. Let's not delve into that. We're not going
Confabulate,
to open up
isn't
that
that
Pandora's box yet.
When you
Box.
fabricate
Oh, that was a good
concept
pun.
so
Pandora's
much that
box.
you think it's real.
Come on, vajazzling.
Like confabulate is to like make something up. I think it's like
Well, we'll get to it one at a time because I want what your impression of confabulate could be.
To I don't know.
it's the inverse of fabulate.
Sam, did you say that you knew what it meant?
I think I know what it means.
All right. So what do you think? you knew?
Like to confabulate something is like to falsify or like make something up to be confusing. That's just my gut.
So it's like putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
it's-
I mean, I definitely get confused when I see lipstick.
It makes
pig.
it makes me want to think something like it's fabricated. Like,
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
fabricated that, but
But fabricate's already a word.
yeah. I know,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. So say the word
All right.
again.
Confabulate.
Confabulate. Oh, it almost sounds like
Well, the prefix is con.
yeah. That's
Con
like
to
a
build or
con,
with.
but with some fab.
Fab
like,
is to build or to fabricate
yeah,
or
that's what I was
to
going with the
be amazing, I
fabricate,
guess,
so
in the case
maybe
of
it's,
fabulous.
Having to do with construction or something, you know, where it's like,
All right.
I'm gonna lie about this, but it's gonna look like it's right.
Lie about something so much that you think it's true. That's what I.
Oh
think.
yeah, it's
All
the
right.
code.
All right. Well,
yeah,
so
exactly.
the definition of confabulate is to engage in conversation, to talk. But the psychiatric version of it is to fabricate fabricate imaginary experiences as compensation for lost memory. So, Joe, you were the most correct in the most recent statement you made. You were fucking almost
That's
on
a
the head.
fun one.
Cool.
But yeah,
It's
it's
like a
like,
lie you tell yourself.
or I would imagine it's kind of like going into a fugue state and then creating a chain of events that did or did not occur. Did not occur.
I
Well, it's
blacked
like
out
you
last night
made
and
up
had like
something to
100
replace
shots.
memories.
Yeah, exactly.
So like he confabulated that idea in his head because he couldn't actually remember what happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that memory was confabulated.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we're confabulating right now because we're just conversating.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like when you're on Xanax.
I mean, I've never
would
been on
have
Xanax,
absolutely
but
no idea.
yeah.
I dated a girl on Xanax, and
Wait,
she would,
you were on
you were on
Xanax?
No, I
Xanax?
dated a girl who
She
was
was
always
on-
on Xanax.
okay.
And she would show up to my house fine. We would hang out, have dinner, and then we would wake up in the morning, and she would forgot how she got there.
Jesus Christ.
It was the most terrifying experience.
Hey, eat that mic a little bit more.
Ooh.
Yeah, not necessarily that.
Snacks.
All right.
Mike snacks.
All right, so the next order of whatever the parliamentary procedure
Business.
order of business. Thank you. Phrases is. Have you guys heard about this OK
Wait,
Boomer thing
Are
going
you
on?
guys the Illuminati? You
Yes.
guys didn't tell
Yes.
me.
Yeah,
If
because
we told you,
you could
we're
just
the
claim
Illuminati.
that.
We're broadcasting our ideas and our plans for world domination
Propaganda.
all over YouTube, which we've got like all of 9 listeners of.
Yeah,
Damn.
9
Hide in plain
subscribers,
sight.
man.
Yeah, so
I am
you
in
better
the
keep your eye on us, buddy.
And to subscribe,
My third eye.
send your name and number to P.O. Box 364, Black Sheep or Bad Apples. Subscription will send you one free item for your subscription.
It
It'll
might
you.
probably be
Easy.
the Eye of Ra.
Might be a boofable podcast.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, I mean, you never know. We're
Or
in
just
development.
a Tide Pod. Who knows?
Anyway, so somebody I can't remember how it originally started, but somebody on the internet, I'm pretty sure it started on YouTube, was like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you guys to stop calling us boomers. It's like the N word for baby boomers."
Wait, what?
Oh yeah. Because there's this
So-
meme that's been going around where it's like, in my generation, we used to drink out of the hose and rub our wounds with dirt, and we turned out just fine. And your generation can't decide if they're a boy or a girl.
Just remind me of the time when we enslaved baby boomers,
That's
and then
my
I
point.
might listen to what you have to say about that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very ridiculous. And so yeah, there's this huge like movement that's going on, and it's actually not that huge from what I understand, but where these baby boomers are essentially like, we need to tell Facebook that boomer is it's equivalent to the N word.
There's federal protection for workplace ageism.
That's exactly what they think it is that it's ageism.
Wait, workplace ageism.
Yeah.
Explain that, because I don't even think I
Like
understand.
not hiring somebody because you think they're too old,
Oh.
Or too young.
But
wow.
also,
or
They're
firing
trying to-
them because they're old.
they're just like in the workplace. If you called someone the N word, you go to HR, right? Or you
Yeah.
get suspended, or you get fired, or whatever. They're trying to make it to where if you call someone a boomer, same thing happens. You lose your job
Yeah.
because they can't help the fact that they're 55. They
Yeah.
still need to work.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Because when the economy was bigger than anything in the world, they didn't get on that Bitcoin. They didn't get on that Apple stock. They still need to be working when they're 55, 65.
Well, and they see it as like they see it as like the younger two generations being the millennials and the three millennials, generation X and Z or whatever they are. They see them as us coming together as this like ageist conglomerate where we're like, fuck the old people, okay boomer, you piece of shit, and
So-
essentially they see it as a derogatory term, as we're like
It
we're
is.
browbeating
It
you.
is
you
a
know what?
derogatory term.
I mean,
It-
but a derogatory
I-
phrase is saying
Good.
is saying like
so is stupid. Stupid. You're
Yeah.
fucking stupid. That's derogatory.
Well, didn't they
If the-
invent
you know what I mean?
most of the derogatory terms?
if
Well,
they
no,
didn't invent
but
them,
they
use
definitely
them.
use the hell out of them.
Yeah, I mean, like just the other day, I think it was like 55 years ago where we finally got rid of segregation.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
crazy.
that group. Like that's
Yeah.
them.
And it,
Right.
And
those
so
are the same
younger
people that were like,
generations are blaming old generations for ruining the planet, basically.
well, yeah. I mean, that's how it
wow,
works.
that's brilliant. I had never thought of that
We got
because that's
Greta
exactly
here.
what's going on. Is that They're like, your generation eats Tide Pods. Your generation's this and that. We got hit as kids, and we're doing just fine. You guys are ruining the planet by including everybody and trying to give human rights across the board. And it's just so frustrating because, like, I saw one argument where somebody was like, if you call me, as I said, if you call me a boomer, it's the equivalent to the N-word, and it's like, well, what point are you? Does that apply to me? Where it's like, you say my generation eats Tide Pods and doesn't know if they're a boy or girl and needs a safe place for all this kind of stuff. And, like, isn't all that discriminatory talk? Isn't that, like, discriminating against me and my entire generation?
You call us goddamn millennials, like...
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you call me a millennial, that's a hate crime now, too.
Well, that becomes a derogatory statement.
Right.
Yeah, like, if we're going to do it, let's do it across the board. Actually, the best comment I saw in response to that was like, you're right, let's ban the word boomer as well as every other word, and we'll just grunt at things that we do and don't like.
Yeah, let's
I'm down for that.
go back
Can we
to
actually
standards.
Just ban words across the board. Set
I-
humanity back 15,000 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Just
decided
And that's when I
language.
joined the word burners.
Apparently, language got too offensive for the human race.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to just yelling at each other in sound.
This Tower of Babel experiment did not work out.
I
just like-
decided the other day on a
And
vacation.
everyone was screaming, "I'm offended."
I decided on a vacation the other day where, like, next week I get off. I'm going somewhere and I'm pretending I can't talk. I don't know how I'm gonna get away with it. I'm walking around with a notepad and I'm just gonna write things at people and I'm not gonna have any interactions. I'm physically not gonna talk to another person.
People are going to expect you to be able to at least sign.
I'll write things down and say there's something wrong with my throat.
Well,
I'll say I'm sick for
where-
some.
I just had surgery.
Yeah.
Where are you traveling to? Is it
I
the
got
States?
throat
thinking
punched
about
by a
Reno.
kung fu master.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be
Reno?
a fun place to do it.
Reno?
Yeah, yeah.
Can I go?
To do it, yeah.
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
My whole plan is to walk around with a notebook. I'm gonna like put it around as a necklace, and I'm just gonna write like just one please for the movie or like whatever it is on
BJ
there.
plus $ question mark.
No, just write
They're like-
numbers, and then I'll be like, I don't know what you're. I can't. Just 30.
People out there are like, so does that mean you suck me off and I give you money, or do I suck you off and give you money? How does this work? And Joe's just like, yes.
Just shaking my head.
Nodding. That's a nod.
Jesus Christ. So,
Yeah. Clarify a nod and a shake. on
Just
that.
shaking my head.
On that
No,
story for
motherfucker,
sure.
that's a nod.
So ageism.
So yeah. So let's get back to the subject at hand. How old people are stupid. Okay, boomer. Fucking idiot. Way to ruin the fucking polar ice caps, you asshole.
There's a hashtag on Twitter that says boomers to Gitmo. I mean, the hate is real.
Yeah.
boomers to Gitmo. What are we going to do? Take an entire generation of people? That's a concentration camp.
Exactly.
Like, what?
Make them feel it.
Jesus.
No, it's a retirement home.
It's like we're literally
Yo,
talking
it's
about
probably-
our
it's probably
parents.
honestly-
I'm talking about my parents. My dad's 73 or something, you know.
It,
That's
it,
what I'm thinking
And
of my dad.
voted for Trump.
They all
Ouch.
should be retired and not have
That
any
sucks.
question now. Like,
No, and
I don't
that's
think you should be
I'm
able to
thinking
vote
of my dad,
after
and
you
he's like
retire.
proud to be a boomer.
Yeah.
He's just like, hell yeah, I'm a baby boomer. What about it?
Ah,
I'm like,
sprung
hell yeah,
forth
go,
from the
Pop.
lusty loins of a sailor back from war and some lady he just met 5 minutes before.
That man, Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan's.
But, things change. So, like,
Ooh, beef of the week, Ronald Reagan.
Yo, can you have beef with a dead person?
fuck Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan.
Okay, see.
I was just in the bookstore in Weaverville, and these two old ladies were talking about how
Ageist.
Ronald Reagan was the greatest president they'd ever seen.
Jesus
And it
Christ.
took every fiber inside my
Okay,
body
boomer.
not to just drop some facts.
Wait,
Goddamn
you said
Nancy
you were in the
Reagan.
store, like a grocery store?
I was in
A
the bookstore.
Oh, bookstore.
Like,
okay.
bitch, you can read?
Yeah, exactly. And you still think Ronald Reagan was the shit?
Jesus Christ. Obviously, they've only ever read
He ended the
Reaganomics.
Cold War.
So before we continue into our next subject, which is animal attacks, I don't know if I mentioned that already.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very
Oh, I
fascinating.
thought this was an R. Kelly podcast.
We're not going to pee on each other. No,
Oh, we were
No,
just
but
talking
can we
about
talk
trickle-down
about him?
economics.
Because he is fucking
No,
insane.
No, I just okay. We'll touch on R. Kelly before we get to the animal thing. But I do want to plug Matt and your music. You're a musician. Not too long ago, you and I just got done filming. You had me help you with a song.
Like
and,
20 minutes ago.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
tell me a little
Were
bit
you
about your
filming?
music career and how that started.
I was.
I've been playing music for most of my life, and that's all I've ever wanted to do.
He was forced into it early.
That's not actually too far from the truth.
Well, I grew up singing in churches in Texas,
See,
and
I'll let you if you don't sing.
but I always wanted to write my own songs. I always felt like I wasn't sure if they were going to be good, and then last year things happened in my career work life up here in the hills where things went south real fast. So I decided to take the winter off and write an album. And I came over here to Fourth Corner Studios with Mr.
Plug.
Sean
Thank you,
Hill,
Sean.
Plug. Right?
You're a
And,
good co-host.
He mixed it and mastered it, did all that good stuff, and put out my
And
first
so what's the
last
album called?
fall, called Pyramid and Street Corners.
Oh yeah.
You can go to my website, MatthewWallaceMusic.com. Check that
Plug.
out. There's a
Pluggerino.
There's a pretty cool video on there from the NPR Tiny Desk concert where I got in the back of my pickup truck and Mr. Joe over here drove it.
Yeah,
And
first time I was involved with anything musical.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That was a
We drove down
great-
Big Creek Road and we played a song in the back of my pickup.
And what's that's on YouTube, right?
It's on YouTube and it's on the front page of my website.
Oh, what's the YouTube?
It also got a special recommend, like a special.
Oh, yeah,
it
it
took
did.
the
It made
recognition
the,
from the people
NPR
at the-
Desks in the Outdoors Supercut.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
really
it was cool to see that. I liked watching their little compilation video and seeing y'all's faces pop up in it. And
Yeah,
there's
it was
some
really
badass
fun to
ones
do.
in
We
there.
went
Putting
down
Hay
this
Fork on the
went
map.
down this back road and we did it 3 times. We saw one truck. They were really excited to see us too.
Yeah, that was fun.
What's the song name on YouTube? And is it under Matt Wallace?
Yeah, Matthew Wallace, and the song's called "Wheels Within Wheels."
Yeah. Hell yeah.
The NPR Tiny Desk
Good
video.
plug. Yeah, so all you guys listening, if you haven't checked him out before, I would highly recommend it. He's an amazing musician, and he does a lot of good work here in town. I know him personally. He's a good friend. We're going to go ahead and take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back with Animal Attacks.
Thanks, Loren.
Plug.
Thank you for listening to our commercials that are most certifiably not fake. They are very real commercials,
Super
very
real
real
shit,
products. And we would like you guys to pay attention to and find our sponsors and make sure that you pay money to them.
Yeah,
I'm
Google
buying
that
4
shit.
for Christmas.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about.
And
He's
he only
getting
has
4 of
2
them.
kids.
Anyway, so tonight's podcast is about animal attacks. Joe Dacey brought up the subject, and man, what a brilliant idea to just throw at us. I've got so many interesting things to talk about. First of all, the goose. So there's a bunch of memes that are going on throughout the internet that are showing that like geese don't give a fuck.
I'm
Geese
curious. I'm curious. Go
hate
on.
everything.
Go
So I'm gonna
Yeah,
the
they're
start of
ornery little
the
shits.
start of this whole thing is all animals fucking hate us. Everything wants us to die, and
Except for
nothing
the
is happy
dog.
that we're here, except for the dog. Yeah,
dog.
maybe.
That's because we're the best.
It
I
feels
mean-
like
They're all
an,
jealous.
it sounds like an
Bunch of
alien
haters.
invasion or something like that. Where
Yeah.
they just show up and they're like, they don't like anybody. They're like, nope, this is our planet. You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, we're the alien invaders.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I
We're
think.
fucking shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so geese must be the most dominant and intelligent species because they will fuck up anybody. So I was looking up what species of geese are aggressive, and the thing that I found was Chinese, Roman, Pomeranian, and African geese. But
Ooh,
if you
African
look
geese are-
if you look a little deeper into it, all of them are fucking aggressive.
yeah, well,
Geese don't give a fuck about anybody. They will. I've seen them like videos of them running at cattle, at like gigantic 1,200-pound fucking steers and stuff like that.
I watched a goose attack a pit bull,
Yeah, they.
oh yeah,
and the pit bull didn't want none of it.
nah, yeah.
It just all it wanted to do was get the fuck away from that
I
goose.
definitely watched 2 African geese. Like a pit bull came up that was not supposed to be there, and that pit bull left.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly surprised. I was like, damn, these geese ain't fucking around.
Dude, who was it? Hannah Grace had to save her sweet blue-nosed pit bull from like Jerry Jr.'s like flock of geese once. They had like cornered this
yeah.
poor dog. It was not a small pit bull. She's a chunky, strong ass pit bull. They cornered this dog in like the barn, and there's like 6 geese were just
Biting at it.
beating the shit out of me, like gang beating this fucking poor dog.
I like how they honk.
Just crying.
Yeah.
Well, and so unless some of my information is wrong, which it is very likely to be, the 4 species of geese that I mentioned earlier, the Chinese, Roman, Pomeranian, and African, are of a variety of geese called guard geese. And that's because they're just super pissed off.
They're
Like,
shitty.
Well,
they'll
what I-
start shit
They're
with
attack
anything.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was gonna say though is they will partner up though with an owner very well. So with the guard geese, that's kind of cool. You said that because I've had African geese and a friend of mine and stuff. If you own the geese, if you were the one feeding the geese and you were the one taking care of them, they will guard you like you were the king or something like
You
that.
can have your own goose
Yeah.
army.
Yeah,
Secret
yeah.
Service
Yeah.
goose.
People come onto your property, they'll just start honking and going at them. Pit bulls, dogs, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But
Other
they'll-
dinosaurs.
and they will, even other people for that matter. But for you, they will sit next to you and just they'll lay. You can reach over and pet them, and they're like your guard geese. It's pretty
They're
cool.
sweet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're
It'd
super
be
sweet.
interesting to try and fight a goose. Just try and, like, hit
I
its
have.
head.
It's not really
Actually,
that
no.
interesting because what you do is you run up to it, you grab it by the neck, and you throw it without letting go.
No, that's
Man, once you get them by like the top, like just the back of the head, I mean, you'd be surprised. Like you can like whip the thing around. It's not gonna kill the goose. Like
Oh,
they're way tougher than they
I was
look.
gonna say you think it's easy, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna ring it by the neck. No,
No,
I've tried to fight a goose.
you can spin their head
I've
around
raised-
like fucking 720
How
degrees,
not
and
to
it's not
fight
gonna
a
break
goose.
their neck.
No, I've raised.
How not to fight a goose.
but you shouldn't.
I've raised geese, and they all. It was a good circumstance, but I come home drunk occasionally. Decide to like, oh, I'm gonna go sneak up on the goose and like try and get a goose.
Goose tipping.
No, you want to sneak up on
Goose
a goose
tipping.
and have it like throw some blows. I got a black eye from a goose because he gave
What?
No, he gave me a bat. Like I came up.
Elbowed you.
Oh yeah, he gave me the elbow to the eye, right in the eye. And I mean, I was like, all right, goose, you got it. Round 2. We'll come back later. Like,
None of
it's-
your friends believe that story.
Weren't you
Oh, I
married
believe
at
it.
the time?
I believe
No,
it.
that was the
You
other.
showed up.
black
You
eye.
showed up with a black eye. You're like, "What happened, bro?" Oh,
It was
man,
during-
I got in a fight with a goose.
No, yeah, and it was
Yeah,
during
I
his
remember.
divorce.
Fuck that goose up though.
Did you come over for
Nah,
more of her
fell
stuff
down,
again?
Fell down some
Now's the
stairs.
goose!
I tripped. I fell. I hit a doorknob.
Yeah.
I hit a door goose.
Door
A goose
knob.
knob. That sounds even weirder. Anyway, so moving on.
I feel like everybody's got an attack by a goose story. Like, is there
I've never been attacked by any avians.
no?
No.
Not
Why
a
would you-
chicken? Not a rooster? Not
No,
a...
but I see my pug dog bark at all the crows, and I realize she's doing it for self-defense because they could carry her off.
Oh yeah, the ravens.
No, the crows, man. We
I've
got
had-
some big crows around here, man.
Those are ravens.
Oh, the black beaks, the ravens, the yellow beaks, the crows.
That's not how that works, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, the only difference is a pinion feather.
So I was listening. I was watching the interview of that guy in Colorado a couple months ago. The guy who was attacked by and killed a cougar. You guys hear about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, beat
Yeah.
it with a
Baby
rock.
cougar.
Oh no, he
Yeah,
didn't beat it.
adolescent.
He didn't beat it with a rock. So the story
Choked it
goes.
to death or something.
So I got a quote in here that I'm gonna try to work my way to. I love this story because what happened was he was just hiking along this trail and he was a long way out and he like heard this little snap of a twig and some leaves rustle behind him and he turned around and the mountain lion was charging at him, so he put his fists up by his face to like kind of defend his face. And then the quote that I got from him that I fucking love, I saw this interview, and the quote is, "So, sir, how did you react? What was your reaction seeing this animal run up on you?" And I quote, "I was pretty bummed up to seeing his mountain lion stalking me." Like, pretty bummed out. He's
was-
definitely from Colorado and
Yes,
definitely
yeah.
Bro,
high
I
as
was super
fuck during that
bummed.
interview.
You know, I was
Hella
looking at the
bummed.
situation and I was like,
Well, this isn't.
bummer.
This is. This isn't ideal, man.
This is pretty rough, man.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, and so the
Much
story.
rather be shredding some fresh pow right now.
Yeah,
That's all
dude.
like-
Some
that's
fresh
like-
pal.
Can't wait for the snow to
That's
fly.
gotta be a person that has a pretty cush life, you know what I mean? Or like is very happy with their life, and they're like, oh, bummer.
Well, and he looked so relaxed, like in the interview. I guess that's what happens when you're like when you prove that you're the dominant fucking part of the dominant species of the planet.
predator.
Yeah. You're just like, yeah, I'm
we
really
are
not
not.
afraid of anything. So what I was really fascinated about the story is that like he put his fist up to his face, and the mountain lion was jumping at him pretty much when he was like, "I'm pretty bummed to see a mountain lion."
Did he knock out the mountain lion?
No, check it out. Mountain lion bit him on his right hand, and they got into a little bit of a scuffle.
Gotta
And
sacrifice the hand.
yeah,
thing.
that's the thing is that you've got to like give them a piece of your body in order to gain advantage because it's a stupid animal. No offense to PETA, I'm a vegetarian.
No,
Um,
fuck PETA.
fuck
Fuck
PETA.
PETA though. Yeah, actually, that corporate beef.
Talking shit on
corporate
Steve.
Corporate
earlier.
beef.
Corporate beef.
Yeah,
is
Fuck
corporate
PETA.
beef.
You guys are
Fuck
pieces
PETA.
of shit.
Yeah, we all
Please.
like animals. You guys are just fucking idiots.
Just stop militarizing your beliefs. Anybody who's listening, stop militarizing the way that you believe things.
take a
anyway.
nap forever.
So he's bit on the hand and the right hand, and he falls down, and he's like fighting this mountain lion. The mountain lion's like chewing through his shit real good, and so he grabs a stick and tries to like stab it. And these sticks are breaking; they're not working right. And so he grabs this oversized rock and tries to like beat the fucking thing across the head. And eventually, he's just like, if I don't start making action soon, like I'm going to start bleeding out. And then he could hear the cat like grinding its teeth on his tendons, and he could hear them ripping. And he was like, "Well, I'm fucking losing this hand now." And
Yeah.
apparently, what he did was during this whole scuffle, he managed to work his way on top of the cat, which is where like the stabbing of the sticks and the hitting of the rock came from. And he just felt that it was a better idea to play some fucking sort of like survival twister. And he lifted his foot up between him and his hand and put it on the cougar's neck and just stepped on his fucking neck until the thing stopped twitching. And when he lifted his neck, it started twitching again. He fucking kept it there. And then he just waited forever. And he described in the interview, he was like, the most terrifying thing about this whole thing was getting my hand free and getting back up, and then realizing how small of a cougar this was, realizing that there could be a mom around. He's like, because now I'm in no fucking position to fight
and
a
she just seen
fucking
you
cougar.
kill
Yeah.
that kid.
Mountain lions
She's
can
pissed.
reach up 400 pounds. Like the biggest recorded mountain lion is huge, much bigger than a person. So like if this thing's like small enough that it didn't just immediately remove your hand with its mouth,
Yeah.
right? Because like those are like specifically designed teeth for separating bones and shit. Like they're super good at it.
I'm more scared of mountain lions than just about any other creature on Earth.
Me too.
Like, I don't
yeah.
even
What about
care
a bear?
I don't care about a bear.
Nah, bears are big
because
and
I know if
noisy.
you run downhill from a bear and then take a sharp left or right, it can't turn that fast, and that gives you at least a
You
chance.
can't turn that fast either. I see you run.
But I feel like bears, you can get big and maybe they'll just decide you're not worth the trouble. You know what I mean?
Bear, you're probably gonna have the option to spray it with some bear mace. 'cause
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
it's a
if you-
bear. It's
But
not
a mountain
sneaking
lion,
around.
it's behind you. It's over your left or right shoulder,
Oh,
and
here
it's
the-
on your
the
neck
story
before
is
you
like-
have a chance.
Yeah, it's not going to look you like, sup, buddy, how's it going before
Right.
it attacks you.
And most bears.
That's not how
you
they
can-
do. They
you
drop
I've been
on
fucked
shit.
up by a house cat.
Yeah.
When I first moved to this town, a guy in town we all know, Uncle Steve.
Yeah.
He said one of the most cryptic quotes that I will never forget, where he asked me if I ever saw a mountain lion, and I said no, and he just looked at me and just said, "Well, they've seen you," and just walked
Yeah.
away. And I'm like,
They definitely
oh yeah.
Yeah, I was hiking alone in the Gila Wilderness down in New Mexico, and it was getting towards dusk, and I was walking through this canyon, and I started hearing some rocks over my left shoulder, and man, I got so scared. I went as far as I could into the middle of the canyon and built a big bonfire, and I was done hiking for that day,
Did you have a gun?
No,
A knife?
I don't think so.
Not a very big one, if you did.
Right.
Yeah, a little
I'm not trying to
backpacking
go
knife.
knife to talon with a damn mountain lion, regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but the point that we should also make is that, like, a lot of these attacks that I'm going to talk about tonight, I don't know if you guys have personal stories. I did my research.
Yeah, I have a handful.
But a lot of these
actually.
stories that happened tonight are actually
One includes
because
a
of
mountain
like
lion.
people knew how to defend themselves at the very least. In the case of the guy who killed the cougar, he was unarmed and it was a very small cougar. It was a juvenile. In the case of another couple of stories, there's one story in particular that the guy, his bear mace just wasn't there in his pocket, and he ended up having to use a very small knife. And like, before I say anything else, I think it's just important to note that if you go out into the woods, remember that you're not separate from nature. You're not different or divorced from it because you're a human being, and you should always prepare for the worst.
Yeah, remember the thing that sets us apart is not our claws and our teeth and our speed and our strength. It's our tool wielding ability.
Yeah,
The
like,
ability to plan.
take bear mace or a knife. Just prepare if you're going to be out there because it's honestly a dangerous world if you're in the city and if you're in the woods. So, Sam, do you have a story?
Well, I was gonna tell. I was gonna ask you guys if you wanted to hear a story that had to do with a fish, a story that had to do with a girl, or a story that had to do with a dog.
Did you have to fight the girl or the
Yeah,
fish?
yeah. That was my
So-
question too.
So, but I'm gonna tell the one that has to do with the dog because it relates back to.
Wait, you
something
gave
we
us
said.
options and then just
Well, you'll
excluded
see why
our.
because we
No
started
one
off
picked
with these
that
mountain
one.
lions. So I thought I
Hear
would.
about the fish or the girl.
Yeah, nobody wants to actually hear about the fish or the girl. I could probably tell. All
Hey Sam,
three
give
of
us
these
the story
stories.
of the dog. Can I hear the story of the dog, please?
So my
There we
first year on the mountain in California, I was hiking from like our little communal area up to my tent, which was set in front of this tall rock.
Whereabouts in California?
This is like Buck Mountain, right by
Oh, okay.
Dinsmore. So like in the middle of the fucking woods,
Mhm.
like 2.5 miles from or 2.5 hours from pavement.
Damn.
Way out. So it's moonless night. I feel like it might even have been a little overcast or something. It was very dark, but I could still just barely make out like the trail, and I knew my way. I had the dog with me. I wasn't using my flashlight. My tent was set in like a little ring of manzanita with like a camo tarp over the top of it. And just as I stepped under the tarp, like right in front of my tent, something about as big as me, maybe a little bit bigger, just like crashed down, I don't know, right where Joe is to me, into the manzanita. Like, and manzanita's hard and it breaks off sharp and shit.
That's fun.
And Colette, who was maybe like 14,
Your
15
dog,
months
Colette.
old. Yeah, my dog Colette, who was a 65-pound black lab, not a big dog at all. She went absolutely apeshit on this animal, whatever at this point I know it's an animal. It sounded big. There's like some high-pitched like screaming noise from this animal, and like the two take off. Meanwhile, I'm screaming and diving into my tent for my shotgun and like come up out of the tent with the shotgun and just shoot every round into the air while bellowing as loud as I could because I was just one sneeze away from fear pissing myself at that point. And so the next morning in the daylight, you could see where this thing had broken like inch to 2 inch branches on the manzanita, and there was tawny, fucking mountain lion fur, tawny colored fur. It was for sure a mountain lion. Like nothing else was jumping off this rock that's like 25 feet tall. The only thing it could have, there was nowhere else it could possibly
It's
have
not
been.
a mountain goat.
It was not a goat. Yeah, goats don't jump at you, fucking from the top like 25 feet down.
Drunken lost cow.
Yeah, drunken lost cow got out of there real quick and didn't leave any fucking like real prints on the
He's
ground.
from
or
Texas.
nothing.
He'd know best.
So there's the dog. That's the mountain lion. I was fishing once in Utah. I caught this nice trout. I was cleaning it at my campsite, and a fucking badger decided that it was gonna. That's its
I'd be
trout.
scared of a badger.
Yo, badgers
Oh,
don't fuck
they
around.
will.
All
They-
cats. All outdoor
Is it a cat?
cats.
No, a badger's
Oh,
not a
badger?
cat.
No, yeah,
A
that's
It's
like
like
badger's-
it's like a fearsome beaver, right?
It's like an
Yeah,
angry
yeah.
bear weasel. It's
Yeah.
probably in the weasel
Weasel,
family.
yeah.
It's a type of weasel. Yeah.
I used to.
I
have
just
this
know-
long-
Like a mongoose.
Yeah,
Yo,
I just
but
know that if you
dude-
see a badger, you should definitely go the other way because that shit will fuck you up.
So, dude, I've never had an animal that like it weighs like fucking 6-7 pounds, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not that. Yo, it did not back down. Like it would. I had a log. Like I went full gorilla. And was like, I didn't want to kill the thing or hurt it or fucking, you know what I mean?
You're just
But
trying to
wanted
scare it.
I wanted it to go away because it was clearly like, and it was fucking,
Clearly being aggressive.
dude,
towards
super
you.
aggressive.
Sounds like my
right?
dog
like
Webster when he's
charging at
mad.
me and then backing off. Like, yeah, kind of like a angry, fearful dog would like do. And I'm slamming this stick on the ground, and like I finally like shove it back with this stick. It's like 8-foot long stick. And I don't know what to do, so I just like push it back. I run quick over to the fish, and I like cut the fish's head off as fast as I can, like throw it to this badger. And he like it grabs the fish head and like backs off a little bit and sits down and like looks at me some more. And I just gutted the fish and threw the guts in it. Like,
Had a field day.
I took it as payment and fucked off. And that was the last I saw of the badger. But that shit was unreal.
Yo, 10%.
So, yeah, exactly. Where's my 10%? It's my riverbank.
Otherwise,
Full
you're gonna talk to my
tax.
buddy Putty Nose.
Okay, and so real quick to get to the story that involves the girl. Years ago, I was on a road trip all the way up to Redwood State Park in California on the coast where they have Roosevelt elk. And there's all those signs that are like, yo, these elk are hyphy. Don't fuck with the elk. Stay away from the elk. The elk are dangerous, blah, blah, blah. So we hike up Fern Gulch.
Fern Gulch.
Fern
Oh, yeah,
Gully.
Fern
Canyon, right? Not the
Yeah,
movie, but the
Fern
canyon.
Gulch.
Oh, I always do that.
Was it on VHS or DVD?
It was the laser disc.
Oh, I
Fancy.
see.
The big orange VHS.
Forest Service DVD trail.
Yeah,
Number.
so we hike, we walk up to the Fern Canyon. Off by the coast is like this big herd of female elk. There's one bull way out in the dunes. We like snap some photos. We go for our hike. We get to the end of the canyon, and the out trail was closed for like rehabilitation. So you just had to turn back, and you couldn't do the loop. You just
Yeah,
had to
you
kind
go
of go back
back.
the other way. And it's either like 12 miles around, or you just go back the way we came. So we start going back the way we came. Here's the herd of elk. Now it's on the trail. My girlfriend
me.
is like,
Excuse me.
yo,
Excuse me. Excuse
we
me, elk.
should just go around these things. I'm
Excuse
like,
me.
honestly, it's not that big a deal. Like, they don't really give a shit
me.
if we
Just musty deer.
yeah, it's just big old deer. It's fine. Like, we can just, as long as you're not freaking out, we can just walk through this herd of deer, whatever, elk. It'll be fine.
Excuse me.
And
elk.
we did.
Excuse me.
She
Pardon
like
me.
held my
Pardon me.
backpack.
Excuse me.
I was like,
Oh,
hold
oh,
my
my bad.
backpack, look at my feet. We made it all. I mean, from 4 feet away from these things, just like one of them like looked at me. That was it. That was all the aggressive nature of these elk. We get out of the little herd. We're moving along. We go around a little bend in the trail, like a big bush here, and then boom, here's the bull elk,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is like a totally different deer. And it's during molt, and so like the fucking felt,
yeah.
is coming off, and he's got blood running down the antlers and down
and
his
he's
face.
pissed off.
And he's pissed. He's angry,
through
dude. His
puberty.
cancer's bleeding.
He's having his period.
Yearly.
Yeah,
puberty.
exactly.
Did you,
And
did,
coming out
did you
of
guys
his head.
did you guys know
Right.
scientists have recently discovered that antlers are the fastest growing tumor on the planet?
yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah, you told me that.
Oh.
Very interesting science.
So,
Anyway, continue.
So his cancer's bleeding, and he's angry.
We let
And-
tumors go. Do we
And he
get
got really aggressive really fucking quickly. Like I was like, okay, he's gonna charge us. Like, get low. He's gonna charge us. He's gonna charge me because I'm bigger. When he does, you're going to run. Like, that was the like game. Like, you run for the Rangers.
I'll distract you. Run.
Yeah, here we go, doing my job. Like, I get to die now, right? I had a K-bar knife on me. That was it. I was like, well, he's going to remember me, blah, blah, blah. And then he just was like, fuck it, never mind. And, like, went back to whatever he was doing, just, like, was over it. And I was like, oh, shit, okay, real slow. Like, let's go. And we stood up to leave, and he was like, never mind. I changed my mind.
changed my
I'm going
mind.
to kill you both.
I'm pissed.
And he fucking comes charging from like 20 feet away, and I grabbed Laura and like threw her up this sand dune, and like I think I levitated behind her like I threw her so hard that I just held onto her backpack and like
And just-
flew up
yeah,
like
You-
Thor's
Used it
hammer.
up.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
thored
I
her.
thored her and used her to like fly, and we just sprinted like the mile or whatever it is to the actual beach through the dunes and the scrub with our backpacks on, and it was that was it. But so I've yet to be injured by an animal, but
Damn.
I've been attacked by a fucking few of
So-
them.
So, go
Yeah,
ahead, Sean.
I was gonna relate kind of a quick little 3 story on animal attacks, but I feel the same. I've never been injured by.
Well, there was this rooster once when I was a little
Well,
kid, but that's different. It's a scratch.
That's what-
But no, what I was gonna get is all your stories
It's not an
were
animal attack.
walking. Animals with legs, things that walked around and stuff like that. All mine are flying.
Well, don't you also have an
animals.
obsession with the
Ducks.
ducks?
No, it's.
He's actually
I don't
a
even
duck.
have one duck. No,
Pretty
ducks are on
defensive
my
there.
side. I
You're
built
actually a
armies.
duck in
Ducks-
human clothing.
So
Mallard.
when I was real young, I was in the scouts, and I had to go out and do an observation, nature observation for one of my merit badges.
What were you observing?
Well, it was supposed to be just observing nature, and the idea to get the merit badge was you go out during the daytime and you take a journal and you field write everything you see, hear. You just do nature observation. You had to log X amount of hours of nature
Hey,
observation.
go emulate Thoreau. Go.
Well, the easy way to do this was
Well, I'm better than everybody else.
yeah.
College is for cunts. It's for the weak-willed
Well, the easy
people
way
who are
to get
pieces
this,
of shit and can't survive on their own.
The easy way to get this badge was to just go at night, because you don't see anything. You just go sit somewhere in the woods at night, and you
Yeah.
just write down the shit you hear. So you sit
Heard
for
some
like an
crickets.
hour, and you do it at camp or you whatever. You're like, hey, I'm gonna go sit over there for an hour. Don't forget about me.
So a
You just
bunch of
walk off,
trees.
you sit with
leaves
your
are
journal,
cool.
and
I
you
like
you sit
sticks.
for an hour more or less just doing what the fuck ever, and then you go back to camp and you're like, yeah, I heard a squirrel, I heard a whatever. So I'm sitting in the dark. I got my flashlight, but I got it off. I'm just sitting in the dark, and I hear this rustling around in a tree. I'm kind of getting like, a little nervous. I hear a little bit more rustle around. Real quick though, I hear this swoop. I hear, and it comes down right next to me. I hear like this, just in the tree by where I'm sitting on this log, and I can't see shit. I got the light off. Well, I click the light on and I flash it up, and
Chupacabra.
there's an owl.
Yeah.
An owl in the tree, and the thing looks at me and just opens its wings and screams. And I don't know if
Owls
you've
are
ever heard
big.
an owl
Yep.
scream. Yeah, and a big owl. Oh, the look, it's got
Like
real eyes. He's like,
Well,
it's-
imagine
how
that thing
big an
cocking its
owl?
head
Like, what kind of owl
360
was it, do you
degrees
know?
over.
I'm not sure because I booked it the fuck out of where I was at so goddamn
I
fast.
fear pissed and ran.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing it as like this like you threw up your light and like spotlighted it and it turned its head around 360 degrees or 180,
I
looked at
think-
you and then just really slowly.
That's pretty much what I imagined. I don't know if it actually happened, but that's pretty much how
It's
I
a
felt.
banshee owl.
Yeah. So, second story was a buddy of mine was coming over to my house. He lived, I don't know, 3-4 blocks away, and the easy way to come was instead of going around the block, he just cut through the church. He's walking through the church. Well, let me rephrase that. He gets to my spot and he goes, "Hey, man, I was cutting through the church." And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he's got this like fear in his eyes. He was like, "When I was walking through the church, these crows out of the trees started swooping down at me
Oh yeah.
and like trying to attack me." And I was like, "Dude, you're retarded, bro. Let's go skateboard."
There's
Oh,
no
we gotta
such
hitchhike.
thing.
Yeah, so we're
haunted
walking back to
crows.
his spot. He had a half pipe in his backyard, so I was like, "Let's go hit up the half pipe at your spot." And we're walking back, and no shit, as we're walking through the church parking lot, black crows were swooping out of the trees down at
As
like
opposed
dive
to a
bomb
different colored
swooping,
crow.
like had a problem. And I looked at my friend and I was like, "Dude, this is not good." When you're walking
They're
through
haunted crows.
when you're walking through a church parking lot and black crows are swooping down at you, that I don't know what that says, but it's saying something.
Aren't
You,
they
when
like
you
the
say the black crow? You mean like the band?
Aren't
Yeah,
aren't,
yeah.
aren't they
Black
the?
crows?
Yeah.
I think that's the counting crows. But
Oh,
but aren't crows like the omen of like
there's
a
no
sign
black
of
crows.
death?
That's
Well,
Matt,
they
what-
say if you see a black crow sitting on a stovepipe, then someone's about to die. Like
Oh.
a
What if they're sitting on
Who's
a
letting
fireplace.
birds in their house?
No, like on the top of a,
Yeah,
like
a
the
chimney
outside of it.
stovepipe coming out the roof.
chimney?
Oh.
Chimneys.
I think that's just
Snow
someone who hasn't
pipe.
used their oven.
Now
in a
I don't
long
want to
time.
wood stove.
There's like a nest in there and shit.
We walk outside. There's fucking 5 of them on the fucking stovepipe.
They,
right now.
they'd be
That's
ravens.
why you never cut your hair in broad daylight.
What the fuck are you talking about? Is this some country wisdom and
Is
know-how I'm
that
not
Texas
aware
wisdom?
of, Mr. Texas man?
Ah, bless your heart.
So-
Hey, I'm just passing along the information.
So real quick, my third one.
No, hold on. I want to get to your third story. But
Oh,
what the
no.
fuck is going on
Oh,
with
no.
don't cut your hair in the daylight? Did your
Hey,
grandma
it's
teach you
a
this?
Old tradition.
Well, no, but what the fuck does it mean?
Don't eat pickled beets after Labor Day.
What in the fuck is going on in this podcast? What is cutting your hair in the day having to
Yeah,
do
crow
with
only
anything?
flies north.
You never cut your hair in broad daylight because, you know, when you cut those hair ends, you're leaving open ends for evil spirits.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
That's
Actually,
science.
I think
That's
Sean's
science.
third story might have been more interesting than your fucking Southern Baptist
Your
bullshit.
hair holds the whole history
No,
of your being.
all of your
You
sins
cut your hair and you
are
let God
in your.
out.
I'm sorry, Sean. I didn't mean to detract. What were you saying about?
no, so,
yeah, give us
Why
your
does a
third story.
Crow dick bone mean anything anyway?
Crow dick boat. What? Sean,
Moving
give
on.
us your
So,
third story,
so
please.
my third one, real quick, is it's I guess it's a cross between a four-legged and a flying. So I
Did you
was,
see a
A
griffin?
manticore?
I was
Oh.
gonna say that.
Oh, fun. I like the imagination of what creature this could be.
Oh,
Pegasus, obviously.
we're all.
Well, obviously, but we won't get in that right now. No, so I was living up in the woods for a while.
Wait,
and
pterodactyl?
It was nighttime. I had
Only
to
2 legs.
I had to go do some my business. You know, I had to go.
Quit detracting, guys. Flailing and shit.
So I'm out in the woods. I go out to a tree, squatting down, doing my business, and I hear this squirrel start barking at me
Oh no.
up in a tree. And I got a headlamp on. It's dark. I'm kind of looking around a little bit, and I hear he's like rustling around a tree, kind of back and forth, doing his little squirrel bark and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, whatever. You know, I don't really care. And then out of nowhere, he jumps and spreads his arms and flies. It was a goddamn flying squirrel
What?
that swooped down and not tried to get, like, I had to duck as I'm doing my business in the woods. I'm squatting down. I was like, whoa, and he flew right over my head and hit
Fucking
the ground.
kamikaze squirrel.
Yeah, a
dude?
kamikaze squirrel swooped off a tree.
Fucking
And I
rabid.
clearly remember it. He opened his arms up, and you could see the little wings and like,
membrane skin.
yeah, you could see it, and he didn't just like he jumped off the tree and almost hit me. He glided with like a kind of cornered. You know, when he came off the tree, he swooped to a like an angle and came around right over the top of my head. I had to duck my head, and he hit the ground and then barked at me a couple more times and then ran up another tree. And I was just like, "Are you fucking serious right now?"
Jesus Christ.
I'm just trying to take a shit in the woods, and this flying squirrels are trying to attack me right now and stuff. And so I've been trying to put together why it's always flying animals that are having.
Because
some-
you're duck.
Did you ever see that episode of Rick and Morty, Sean?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's
ever.
right. You
But
didn't.
If you want to explain it to me, so I can try and imagine what I'm not gonna pretend to.
Well, I can tell you a story about somebody. You know, it's always dangerous when you're taking a piss or taking a shit out in the woods because that's when you're at your you know, you
Most
don't have your
vulnerable.
defenses
Yeah,
up. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're fishing out of Shelter Cove, 3 of us on a little boat, and my buddy been drinking beer all morning. He stands up on the gunnel and pisses off the side, and a seal jumps out of the ocean right at his dick, and he almost fell back into the boat. And you got to be careful out there, man. Moral of
So-
the story.
So, just to segue, a brief list of the animals that will attack you and are common to attack you: boar,
Yeah.
elephant,
Yeah.
bears,
I've seen a
both of
boar as
those
big
are
as a
like-
school bus. Those
horses.
things are huge.
Yeah, like
snakes,
700-pound boar.
Yeah.
crocodiles, cows, rhinos, cassowaries, which are fucking crazy
Cassowaries
ass
are
fucking
intense.
birds.
Dinosaur
They got
nightmare.
horns.
But I wanna address this briefly. I did see a video of a guy because I've been doing my research about our podcast topics,
Plug.
ladies and gentlemen. Black sheep and bad apples.
Give you a B. B plus, maybe.
Thank you.
Hey, that's better than our fucking national infrastructure.
Anyway, so I was
PG&S.
watching this video about like the shark attacks, and this guy who was on the surface, like the surface of the water, apparently a shark was going up to attack him, and rather than just letting the shark attack him, he just like as it came at him like just directly on like a missile, he grabbed it by its nose and just pulled its nose up and out of the water, and it kept trying to push forward so it could swim past him, and so he just kept the shark's nose out of the water. And since its mouth is like, I don't know, just guessing 5 inches from its nose, he just like was holding it there, and it couldn't chomp at him. It was like holding a little person, like a kid by their head while they try to swing at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just pushes forward and pushes you forward.
Yeah.
Like,
Speaking of kids, I mean, I don't have a lot of facts about animal attacks, but I do
What
know.
about kid attacks?
I do know
thought you were
that
gonna
you're
say you don't.
over 900 times more likely to get molested by a Catholic priest than suffer a shark attack.
Damn.
that's
That's probably true. It actually might be more.
Nah, it's like 960 or something like that. I can't remember the exact. I don't fact check, but I know it's over 900
I don't
times more
fact check.
likely.
So,
we're gonna have to run like a Fox News segment redact at the end of this. Like, pretty much none of what we just said is true, and all of it was a lie. And well, you do your own research. Fox News, yeah.
We need that micro.
Well, Alex
micro
Jones
machines
this
guy to be
bitch.
able to give us the whole speech.
You decide.
yeah.
All right, so
you decide.
so do you guys know how dangerous moose are?
Meese?
Probably hella dangerous. Like,
Oh,
you
man.
do not want to hit one with a fucking vehicle. That's
Yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
you want to trust a moose because it was in a cartoon, but then I feel like when you
And
see
they
it, you're gonna be
look-
like, no, I don't trust.
They're
you.
so much bigger than you think.
Dude,
Well,
they're
and-
so
yeah.
huge.
And going back to the
one
story.
antlers from like me.
Yeah, going back to
I
the
was
story-
in Alaska, and I was on a bus, a school bus, and an antler or a moose got in the road. And when it turned to look at the bus, its antlers were wider than the bus.
Right, and it was eye level with like you in your seat in the
Right.
bus.
It's like 8 feet tall.
I saw a moose.
Yeah.
I saw a moose in Vermont, like, or no, sorry, Maine, canoeing. It was in the river. We thought its antler was like a branch until we canoed past it. We were like, fucking, I don't know, right next to this branch, and then the branch is like it's just a fucking
Pissed off
moose.
branch.
Well, no, I wasn't really pissed off. It was just like it
Well,
was kind of startled, and it like just all of a sudden this thing like 8 foot wide branch just comes up out with a face, and
Yeah.
it shoots all this water out of its nostrils. And me and this kid Doug are in this canoe like, fuck, man. It turns out you can actually canoe faster than a moose can swim, which is a good thing. But like,
But
dude, again, like one sneeze away from fear pissing myself. Like,
they dive deep though. They go down to like 20 meters or something like that to get like.
well, this thing was, I mean, it was standing in like
Well,
10 feet of water or something.
yeah.
Like its whole body was underwater. It just,
I,
it was doing like this, like sticking its head up.
the
Like, "What's up,
the
dude?"
listeners can't see that.
I know, but you can.
but you can imagine a periscope with a bunch of antlers on it.
Anyway, so
5.5 foot long periscope.
so the interesting thing about mooses, mises, whatever, is that you're right. Like their center of gravity is so like they're gigantic fucking beasts, and so a lot of deaths by like deer that happen here in California don't compare to how many deaths happen in Canada with moose. Yeah, because when you hit them, you're hitting their legs, and their 900 to 1,200 pound body is falling directly
largest
through your
deer.
windshield and driver and passenger seat.
I worked for a guy who hit a moose in his
Yeah.
Chevy 2500 HD lifted pickup truck, and if they had been like, he was like, if I'd been driving my wife's car, we'd have both been dead.
Yeah.
The moose almost made it into the like front of the cab of the truck anyway.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he like actually hit it in the body because he was in a lifted pickup
Yeah,
truck.
but so your story about the elk is really interesting because if you think elk are bad, mooses will fuck you up. So I
Well,
was doing some research. Hear me out. So I was doing some research, and I got into this story, and I was reading this article, and God, it's got a great quote. It talks about how like don't run away from a moose. I mean, stand your ground and try to like back away real slowly. But they can outrun humans, and
shit.
they will knock you the fuck down. and if you get knocked down, the best idea is to cover your face and your neck with your
'Cause they're gonna
hands.
start biting on stuff.
No, they're just gonna keep.
Stomping.
They're literally gonna kick and stomp the shit out of you. And I read specifically the word kick. Apparently, they can kick. I didn't realize fucking mooses could do that.
Yeah,
But the
just
quote
like
that
a
I love
horse,
about
dude.
this is that you fall to the ground, you cover your face and your head and your neck, and you just lay there and you stay still, because, and I quote, trying to move or beat it off will only cause the moose to continue kicking and stomping you. And I
You just got to make it think you're dead.
yeah, exactly. But I just love that, or beating it off. Like,
So
like it's
So
like,
don't give a
why am
moose
I
a
going to try to
happy
jack
ending,
off a
or
moose
he's
in the
gonna
middle of him
stomp you
attacking
out.
me?
Yeah.
Trade you some high grade maple syrup.
Anyway, according to CNET, and this isn't the actual numbers. These are just the numbers that I found the most interesting. The most angry. Oh, I'm gonna ask you guys this: what do you guys think the number one animal that causes the most human deaths around the planet is?
A mosquito.
Sean?
Pass.
Saying mosquitoes makes me think it's some kind of worm or something.
It's malaria. Mosquitoes
All right.
transmit malaria.
What do you think, Matt? What kind of animal causes the most fucking ruckus in human life?
Catholic priest.
All right.
Chihuahua.
I was gonna say pigs.
No, Sam was right. Actually, mosquito is the number one, according to CNET, with 1 million people killed annually.
Number 2 is actually people.
Yeah, but
Ooh,
like
yeah, well,
the FDA
That's,
made mosquitoes.
again, very
so
true.
it's
Are you
not
reading my
like,
notes?
No, I already know these facts.
Oh, okay. So the third one that I wanted to bring on here, and it's not like the third most lethal, but snakes only kill 50,000 people a year.
Out of 7 billion.
Yeah. And then
Step it up.
Not long ago, I watched a buddy wrangle a rattlesnake with the lid of a cooler and a long stick.
I actually.
I
just
love that
tried
you're
to
from
do that.
Texas.
I was here in California.
Was this filmed? Because I want to see this happen.
I did not film it. I tried to help, but then it went all down the hill, and then he was down there with a shield and a stick, and he got it into the cooler and then dropped it off somewhere else because he's a good dude and wasn't going to kill that guy.
All right, so the fourth most interesting, not necessarily the most lethal, and I think it is the most lethal, but I might be wrong, it is a bug. I want you guys to ask yourselves what bug it could be. Dacey, what do you think?
Syphilis.
Interesting. Not an
When you say-
insect, but
you say
close.
an insect. Is,
You
you're-
said a
Yeah,
bug.
it's a
Yeah.
bug,
I
an
mean, are you
insect.
talking about
Yeah.
a true bug, or are you talking about arachnid? Are you talking about...
Right.
Bro, no, it's not an arachnid.
Ooh,
But we
I'll go
already
that
said
far.
mosquito.
Bed bug.
Interesting. It's really honestly kind of obscure.
A tick?
No?
Ooh, that's a good guess. I
It's
would
not a
think
bed
that
bug
for
either.
sure.
Is it a parasite? Or is it just like toxic or poisonous?
It is.
Oh, it's like bees or like wasps.
Well,
or something.
no. It's kind of a.
Anaphylactic shock.
It's kind of a parasite, but it only feeds for a small amount of time.
Tapeworms?
Dacey, you got an idea other than syphilis?
No, I'm gonna stick with syphilis.
All right, it's the assassin bug.
Oh well,
Kills
of
people?
course,
Yeah.
the assassin.
Oh,
It-
I mean,
it-
I just like,
It's in the name.
I mean, how did
There
how
I
else did
go
Abraham
killing
Lincoln
again.
get off?
Yeah,
That's what I was
apparently
gonna
there's
say.
there's this thing called the
John Wilkes
Chagas,
Booth.
the Chagas virus or the Chagas bacteria or something like that infects people due to the
Mustache.
saliva,
And,
the mustache.
The
they have.
assassin bug's considered a beneficial insect in the garden.
Indeed. So number 5, you guys aren't gonna have to guess this because this is just fucking unbelievable
Dolphins.
to me. This creature causes a disease called schistosomiasis,
Hyenas.
and it is a freshwater snail.
Oh,
And
Oh,
it
yeah.
causes this by introducing a flatworm into the human
Wait.
body.
Yeah.
And it is number 5 on my list at 10,000 people a year it kills.
yeah.
I still
they're
can't
not-
believe you guessed number 2 being murder, which is 475,000 people are killed annually.
Can't you pour salt on?
That seems
snails?
low.
It does seem low, but I wonder if that's including
I mean,
or
a half
discluding
a half
war.
a million out of
Yeah.
7 billion. It's not including war.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Can't you pour salt on snails and it's like
It
Kills
dries them out.
Well,
it kills them? Is that true?
Yeah, PETA.
Yes.
No, I mean, hold on.
No. Hold on for a second.
Hold on. Is
No.
that-
Hey, Sean.
is that
Hey,
true?
Sean.
What?
Sean. Ask your question, but then have people from PETA write some snail mail.
Oh.
Take a week and a half to
I
get
mean, you
there.
know, in
Fuck
50
you.
years, we're all going to be eating snails and crickets.
No, so what I was gonna
Ain't
Man,
gonna
do
be
it.
nothing left. Cockroach.
what I was gonna get at is that true? You can pour salt on snails and it makes them dry
I think
out and
that's
die.
slugs.
Again, address PETA and
I
ask
know it's
them.
slugs.
No.
for sure.
It actually
Both.
does work, and I don't know what the actual biological process is, but they just
Well,
foam
they're
a bunch of
basically-
yellow shit, and then they're dead.
So
They're all
then-
water, so you
then
put
when
a
it-
little
Oh, they're like
salt
a
on it, it
they're like
sucks it all up.
a
So when you
cucumber in a shell.
designate the
Yeah.
snail as a freshwater snail, doesn't it make sense that it's a freshwater snail?
Well, there's
'Cause if-
saltwater snails too.
Fuck.
It's all about like their body system, though. You know what I mean? Like
Saltwater snail's not a shrimp.
It's a
no,
scream.
dude, like a conch or
Laugh into your microphone.
what
figure
are
my
those
mouth's- my laugh's too loud.
the nudibranches and snails and sea slugs, and they're all like in the same
Oh,
group
no.
of.
How do you salt a sea slug?
You can't, dog.
Say that 5 times.
How do you sea salt a sea slug?
Stop.
Pour some
Anyway,
sugar on it.
Pour some sugar
so
on this slug.
we're gonna go ahead and take a brief commercial break, unless any of you guys have anything to contribute.
Well, I got one quick story about.
I want to hear an animal.
I got a
attack
question
from
for you
Joe.
before that.
Okay.
Joe, do you have a story?
I got
All right.
a story.
All
Is
right.
it quick?
Is it about
Couple.
jaguars?
No.
Okay,
this one's
'cause they
about
hate us too.
kookaburras.
Ooh.
Kookaburra.
That's a bird,
Kookaburras,
right?
Yeah. It made
Wait,
me think of,
more
from your
birds,
guys'
yeah.
story. Yeah.
Wait, it's a bird?
yeah.
Yeah, kookaburra.
A kookaburra sits on the old oak tree. It's an Australian bird, and when I was
So you know this story's going to be crazy.
oh yeah.
So fun.
So I was living out in Australia for a while, and I was teaching outdoor education. And one of the things that we would have to do with our kids before we would bring them out into the bush was we would have to design fake eyeballs and put them on the back of all the kids' helmets, because the kookaburra will only dive at you from the back.
Wow.
Ooh, wow.
So, like, you put the eyes on the back of your hat, and the kookaburra never dives down on you.
That's
Wait, so it'll dive at you to kill you? Like
What's
a
it
cassowary?
Oh, just to
dives
annoy
at
the
you.
hell
no,
out
it's
of
just
you.
a backstabber.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
It's just like
if-
messing
as
with
soon-
you. That's
it's
birds.
like Mario Ghost.
Yeah,
As soon as
'cause-
you turn your back, it's gonna come at you and start diving at you. But
Man,
if
I'm
you're
going to start
looking at
using
it,
that
you're
as a
good.
pejorative.
A kookaburra.
Goddamn kookaburra stabbing me in the back.
Got to have eyes on the back of your head.
No, yeah,
for that
because for a
kookaburra.
second I thought it was like the cassowary, which I guess we'll address right now. The cassowary is extremely crazy. Like it's a dope bird. It lives.
Yeah, but it's flightless and is like it's like a huge land bird.
Yeah,
but
it's a
got
huge
those
land
big
bird.
legs like dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's got-
basically a velociraptor with feathers in the modern day. That's also more chicken than velociraptor, but its feet are velociraptor.
And can eat avocados whole, and is one of the only birds that could
process it.
germinate
Yeah.
avocado seeds from across the country.
Yeah,
Well,
but
wow.
they're also aggressive and will run up to you and rip the fuck out of
Yeah.
your guts.
Yeah. Eviscerate.
Oh yeah, they're just terrible.
Not to go
birds.
further down the rabbit hole, but did you know that California condors can fly up to 15,000 feet?
Jesus.
Wow.
I
Christ.
just learned
Have
that.
you
and I
ever
was
seen
very
one
impressed.
in person?
No, but I hear they got a 10-foot wide wingspan.
It's 10, 12 foot,
oh.
That's just,
sometimes more.
oh,
But they,
shit.
dude,
yeah, that's like
they
bigger than a double
stand
wide.
like this. They stand like 3.5, 4 feet tall.
Do you
They're-
think they're friendly? Like, could I go hug one?
I've always wanted to eat one, but I don't think that's
What the f-
kosher.
Oh, that would
Wow.
be a great Thanksgiving. You
Yeah,
could do like
last
4
meal.
turduckens in that.
Anyway, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we're gonna come back for some shenanigans. Stay with us. Black Sheep and Bad Apples presents.
Dun, dun.
back with Black Sheep and Bad Apples. I do want to throw out a little reminder here, a little cool
Shout out.
acknowledgement. This is our 10th episode on the podcast here.
We've
been
made
running-
it.
Episode 10.
X.
Yeah, little checkpoint.
You guys
before
remember when we
growing
started
up.
this podcast directionless? In the first 3 episodes, I was like, I'm not gonna name it yet because I don't know if I'm gonna scrap the whole project. We've made it past that
Yeah, I remember your
indecisiveness.
Your
Call it what it is. I'm a
indecisiveness, yeah.
piece of shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, welcome back and thank you guys for being here. I don't want to thank you
10
guys.
episodes strong.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
thank you guys here in the studio, Dacey. You're,
Double digits,
I
baby.
fucking love you being here. I love the fact that you're gonna be a regular guest of ours.
Be here
Uh,
as much as I can,
Yeah,
man.
we've got to
love.
figure out a title for you, which shouldn't be like regular guest. It should be like special side co-host.
Joe Spacey's pretty good.
Joe Spacey's really good. I like it.
My dad's nickname in high school was Spacey Dacey. So,
Although Kevin Spacey, you know, he might have put the kibosh on that.
I'll take
Well,
it back
mean,
from Kevin.
We'll take any.
Fuck that.
We'll take any cease and desist we can get. You know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I do want to throw out before we get to cease and desists, Sam. Thank you and Sean, my co-hosts. Like 10 episodes. I didn't expect to do this, and I'm really excited that we're doing this all together and we're running through it.
That's
I
been
feel like
fun.
we're getting
Yeah, I
gradually
love doing
better.
it, man. It's fun. I
Yeah,
don't
guys,
even
a
listen
little more
to the
format.
podcast. I just come here and I do it and enjoy being
Well,
here with you guys.
that's just fun. I appreciate
It's
that.
the only time I feel like I have friends.
Yeah, and so well, we're not friends. You're just helping me fill time.
Yeah, whatever.
Remember that. I've got time to fill. It's an
I
hour
feel
or more
needed,
long
and that's what
podcast.
a person
Yeah,
really
but-
wants.
You're a
He's a
utility that I
partier.
deploy into combat. You're not a person.
That would be a good use for me.
Sean, thank you for hosting us and doing all the posts and like taking care of us. It's just you're dope.
Oh yeah. fourth
Engineer
corner,
extraordinaire.
And
The
so
man on the board.
now I want to shift the spotlight over to somebody
Guy with a computer.
we didn't necessarily highlight
Yeah.
too deeply. Mr. Matt, thank you for being on the podcast. And
Thanks for having me.
And I know that we just worked on this Christmas
Matthew
song.
Wallace.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I wrote a Christmas song about an experience in my life from a few years back when I was in Santa Cruz. It's called Foggy Christmas in Santa Cruz. Sean over here is doing the engineering, and Loren over here just laid down the bass track tonight. And it'll be coming out around Thanksgiving. You can see it on Spotify or Pandora or Apple Music, any of those spots.
Yeah.
Check it out.
If you
Super
get
exciting.
lucky on
That sounded
Pandora, I
pretty
gotta
good.
throw this.
I
out
got
here.
on Pandora. I was really
What?
surprised, too.
Yeah,
now
I'm
I
still
gotta-
working on it. My finances
It
haven't
took
been
me like
working
6
out.
months.
Sean.
I've been
Wow, I
trying to
gotta
get on
check
there
Sean,
for
you can't
years.
hate like
but-
he
You don't
got,
even make
he
art,
got on
Dacey.
I know,
the,
but I'm still trying.
the Tiny Desk special
That's all
commendation
like,
video
damn,
and
I'm
shit
like,
too.
You got on
He's
the
a good
tiny-
musician.
I keep engineering.
He's a
albums that are
successful
getting,
musician.
getting further than what I'm engineering. For
It's because he's
myself.
got
It's-
blonde hair. Let's
Success
be
is a
honest.
very nebulous
Do you have blue
thing.
eyes too?
Ooh, nebulous.
Oh, don't tell my secrets.
And he's
I
got
still
nice.
think you guys should
he's
do
a-
what
got a
we
nice-
brought up
nice
last year
laugh,
and just bring
you
out
know?
all your songs on YouPorn. I think
That's a
that's
brilliant
a brilliant
marketing
idea.
No, I've been having this idea. I've been wanting to make soundtracks for porns that we can sell to
Bow, chicka, bow,
yeah, to you porn
wow.
or
Yeah, but that's not the song. They don't do that shit anymore with porn.
That was
like,
like
If
40
you
years
make the
ago.
music, they will.
motherfucker, no,
Yeah,
dude. Like
they-
they're making these things on cell phones with like chicks they picked up in like the gas station. Like there's nobody's.
Yeah, they're
No,
using
they-
like the
There's
Apple.
production
they-
if you look into it a little
Well,
bit. You're just on
there's
the cheap
production in the
sites.
sense
You
that
look
there's production in the sense that they're using like the newest Apple phone, which takes like 3 times high definition fucking photos and or video or whatever. They're just like, oh yeah, now I'm a successful fucking pornographer.
Oh, I'm telling you, female-directed porn, man. It'll
Oh,
change
yeah,
your
that's
life.
actually
It's
real-
fucking awesome.
yeah, it's really good
Well,
stuff.
It'll change your life, he
Ah.
says.
they want quality music for that film.
Exactly.
So, are you guys excited about the
That's where all
new
the money's at.
episode? I'm gonna ask you this specifically, Sean.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
excited about the new episodes of Rick and Morty coming out tomorrow?
Not at all.
Yeah. You know why?
Because you're a
Because
piece of shit.
Because you're a fucking piece
Oh,
of
he
shit.
doesn't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm
What
gonna
didn't
I'm
you
gonna
care
wait.
about this
no,
I'm gonna
week?
wait till it's done. I'm gonna wait till
Sean-
the seasons are over, like
We're-
The Sopranos,
No,
before I
we're
get
gonna
into
do
it.
one of these.
Cut to black.
Sean's. What did you not give a shit about this week?
Nope,
yeah.
nope. Anyway, Dacey, what do you think about the new Rick and Morty season coming out tomorrow? Well, and it's only 5 episodes, but
I can't wait, but I'm also pissed off at the 5-episode thing.
Yeah,
too.
I'm
I
Dacey
think it's a
on
little bit of
that.
a
Yeah.
cock tease.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
Yeah, they waited.
man about
They
it.
made us wait 2 years. If you make us wait a full year, then you mess around with something like that. Sure.
Well,
But,
and it makes sense if you're like releasing it through Netflix and you've got like a full season, 12
what's
episodes.
it being released through?
It's being released through Adult Swim.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
still on Adult Swim, so I'm pretty excited because I believe.
So it's going to come out weekly.
No, I think they're releasing
If they're
5
only
of them
releasing
all at
5
once.
episodes, it can't come out weekly.
Yeah, they're
Well,
releasing.
Well,
Or
Definitely do
they
that.
take another 6-month break and
So-
then
so-
give you
so-
another 5 episodes.
Yeah. So what I think they're doing is, I think this season's 12 episodes. I could be wrong, but they're releasing 5 tomorrow, ish, depending upon your time zone. And then I think a couple months from then they're releasing another 5 or 6 or something like that.
Rick and Morty's the only TV show I've ever seen where the pilot was the best episode.
It is
Hell
really
yeah.
good.
Have you watched the whole seasons?
I've watched the first 3.
Yeah.
There were some good moments in the 3rd season, but I thought most of the 1st and 2nd season were pretty spare.
Yeah. What was the reason for that? Because I think they're dope.
You know, I just judge it based on how many times it makes me laugh out loud and or smile.
Oh yeah. So you're
And
probably
I
not as
value your
nihilistic as the rest of us then.
Maybe not.
You live a happy life.
Anyway, anything anybody else want to plug? Oh, the fuck Hobo Johnson.
Oh yeah,
Oh
fuck
yeah,
Hobo
we need to
Johnson.
do the definitely
Incel
it's
rap.
Cheddar
episode
dick.
10. So we need to definitely do a extra special fuck Hobo Johnson. I think because we've been doing 10 episodes straight now.
Should we
Fuck
do?
Hobo
Have you said fuck
Johnson,
Hobo
so-
Johnson for every episode?
Yeah.
Every
Oh,
episode.
that's fucking awesome.
So this is
Yeah,
gonna,
swallow that
gonna
red
be-
He's our
pill.
personal beef.
Yeah.
So this is definitely going to be the we're 10 episodes deep, and you haven't even. I haven't heard one. I haven't gotten one snail mail from Hobo Johnson at P.O. Box 364 in Hayfork, California, area code 96041.
Pussy.
I haven't gotten an email at Fourth Corner at meritparcel.com.
Plug.
I haven't gotten, we haven't gotten anything, not even a comment.
You know,
on the podcast.
should we
Bitch
try?
ass
Has
Sure,
Hobo
fucking
Johnson
show
ever
up
lived
here.
under a bridge? That's what I want to know.
No, he hasn't. I think his name's Earl or something. Or no,
Ooh,
it's
that
not
is
Earl.
like kind of the H word for homeless people, right? Like
No,
hobo?
hobo's like a hobo's a good
hobo's
word
like
because
a-
a bum is the pejorative
that-
term. A
that's what people are
a
upset
hobo's a
about.
homeless guy that travels.
Right.
A bum is like
Yeah.
somebody that stays in
But
the
so
same spot.
so is a Johnson.
So if we're
Well,
gonna do
that's long
something
and
special for
distinguished.
Huh?
if we're gonna do something special for
A
our
penis.
10th episode, fuck Hobo Johnson, should we try to maybe
Call
do
him
like
right now?
a
But
little
the
harmony?
Johnsons were
Should,
like
no, should we try to do a
hobo
little?
gangsters.
Should we try to do a little bit of a fuck Hobo Johnson, fuck Hobo Johnson, fuck Hobo Johnson, fuck Hobo Johnson?
Well, I need a truck to fuck Hobo Johnson in.
No. But before we get into that, Hobo Johnson, his real name is Frank Lopez with an S, Jr.
All right,
Nothing wrong with
Frank.
that.
So, fuck
So-
Hobo Johnson.
Fuck Hobo Johnson.
Fuck Frankie Smokes.
Fuck Hobo Johnson.
Fuck Hobo Johnson. That was terrible, boys. You got to hold the note. Let's try that. Let's try that again.
Wait, you got to throw some beatbox.
Oh,
that's
because this
what
is
they-
an
Oh, okay,
ohm.
okay.
Yeah, we got
We're
Oh,
doing
no.
an ohm here,
Right.
hippies.
Fuck Hobo Johnson.
Episode 10. Black Sheep and Bad Apple saying fuck Hobo Johnson. We got you on this. You
Fuck
don't know
Hobo
what you're gonna
Johnson.
get Hobo Johnson is,
Fuck.
but you better show up on this list.
Put it on YouTube, folks.
Fuck Hobo
I didn't know we were
the
doing
fuck
this.
Hobo
But fuck Hobo
Johnson.
Johnson.
Fuck Hobo. Hobo. Fuck.
Johnson.
Fuck Hobo Johnson.
Wah, wah.
Fuck.
Incel rap.
Fuck. Fuck. Fuck Hobo Johnson. This has been Black Sheep and Bad Apples.
Right in
Thank
his
you for being
mouth.
with us.